I'ma keep it a bean. Stick to the script, every scene. This from last year, but they clean. Say to say, I'ma take something else, but it's a winning team. Charlie Sheen, fam gang, the regime. I'm from Piney Green.
Hey, what's goody? Shellitronnn here, and I am back. It's been like, a full week since I dropped a video, and I did not get around to reacting to our huge win over the Cardinals this past Sunday. I'll be doing that in this video right here. I just want to let you guys know that for a couple of personal reasons, I wasn't able to record videos this week or up until today, Thursday. So I'll be getting around to, obviously, this video talking about Cam's foot, which is a huge thing, focusing on Kyle Allen in his own video, talking about the O-line, and then obviously getting into the preview and predictions for this Texans game coming up Sunday. That's going to be a big one. But I want to focus in on this game against the Cards. 38 points to 20 points. And it's the good guys this time with the 38 points. Now, I can't tell you what part of the game we did bad at. As far as I'm concerned, everyone in this game did their job. Now, there were some times in the O-line, I got a little bit worried about the pass rush. I got a little bit worried about certain players here and there on certain downs. But as a whole, I can't be too mad. As a whole, from quarterback play, you have to start with Kyle Allen. Look, I know I have my doubts about the man, but I just had not seen it from him up until this point. And look, we're playing against the Cardinals, and we understand who the Cardinals are, what the Cardinals represent, what their season is probably going to be looking like this season, but that does not take away from what Kyle Allen did in a meaningful game. Kyle Allen looked really good. 19 for 26, didn't crack 300, but 261 and 4 touchdowns and 0 interceptions. I'll take that over getting the 300-yard mark every single time. And he did it with 7 different receivers. We saw Greg Olsen, the one that we know and love, the man that we haven't really seen over the last 2 years, not because he's fallen off, but because his foot almost fell off 2 years in a row. Greg Olsen came off of 100 yards last game. He got 6 catches for 75 yards this game and 2 touchdowns. 6 catches on 7 targets works for me. The next man up was Curtis Samuel. He had 5 catches on 7 targets. 53 yards, a touchdown. DJ Moore had a touchdown. We saw Chris Hogan get a catch. C-Mac will obviously get his. He got 3 catches for 35 yards. But that is the biggest surprise in this whole game. Christian McCaffrey wasn't the biggest part of our receiving game. In fact, Christian McCaffrey, you could say, was hardly even a focus of the receiving game this game against the Cardinals, which worked out pretty well because he had 24 carries for 153 yards and a touchdown. Imagine this. You have a premier running back that is also a great pass catcher, but you don't feel the need to force him the ball all the time in the pass game, which only opens him up for the run even more. And what's crazy is this performance from C-Mac is good on 2 different fronts. First of all, it proves to your coaching staff, to your team, to everyone else that you don't need Christian McCaffrey to be the focus of the pass game. But it also does the same thing for the opposition. Imagine going to a game thinking all you have to do is stop Christian McCaffrey in the pass game, and then everyone else around him is getting catches. Do you abandon your game plan and go and let one of your slower linebackers stay on Christian? Do you put maybe a safety on him? What do you do when you realize the pass game isn't going to Christian McCaffrey and you have to focus your better assets on other guys? But you always know in the back of your mind, this next pass could be to Christian. We can do a lot of really big things and play some really crazy mind games with the way that we use or choose not to use Christian McCaffrey week to week, because we know defensive coordinators are circling Christian McCaffrey 3 times with a red Sharpie every single week. They see, okay, Panthers up next. First thing is Luke. Second thing is Christian McCaffrey. You figure out Luke, you figure out C-Mac, you can beat us. But not too many teams find it all that easy to figure out those 2 guys. And I really do think that moving forward, we're going to see a much different, much more energetic offense with Kyle Allen at the helm. But I don't want to focus on that too much here. I want to focus on the numbers, which is something I don't do very often, but in this game, you kind of have to. If you watch the game, you know what I'm going to first. It's got to be sacks, right? It's got to be sacks. 8 sacks in this game on Kyler Murray, which is kind of weird because for the first time after 2 weeks of not having this man run, was the right time to call for design runs from Kyler Murray? Nah. He wasn't safe outside the pocket. He was not safe inside the pocket. We saw Shaq Thompson get a sack. Eric Reed got a sack. We saw Brian Burns get one. We saw Mario Addison get 3. Christian Miller had 2. I mean, look, I know he played the Cardinals, but we gotta keep it real. Our front 7 is ferocious. And I want to mention one thing about Brian Burns. I noticed early on in the game, there were times where he had his hand in the dirt. He wasn't playing outside linebacker. He was playing left defensive end. And then in the second quarter, I saw him switching between LDE and he was playing right outside linebacker. Now, it didn't look too hard to see whether he was only playing right outside linebacker in the 3-4 or if he got in the 4-3 as well, or the flip side in the 3-4 if he ever played with his hand in the dirt. I doubt that happened, but seeing Brian Burns with his hand in the dirt pretty often and standing up is going to be another nightmare for offensive coordinators to actually scheme against because he's on opposite sides of the field doing opposite things. Well, it's always going to be pass rushing, but it's a different approach and a different blocker seeing a different guy with his hand in the dirt as opposed to being a linebacker. There's so many variables there you have to account for. It's going to be a hard time for these offensive coordinators to scheme around our defense. And then you think about the interceptions. Dante Jackson had 2. Now, there was one play early in the third quarter where it was a broken play. Kyler Murray was rolling out to the right, and David Johnson was wide open to the left in the flat. Dante had a chance to just square with him and get an easy tackle. He kind of launched and whiffed on a tackle. Ended up being a touchdown for David Johnson. But every single time Dante Jackson makes a mistake, he's going to come up and get 2 back for you. And in this game, he did it. 2 picks. One was a routine kind of, the ball kind of fell to him in his hands on the run. The other one, later in the game, I don't know. My TV broke. I swear, the man jumped 13 and a half feet into the elevation. The man grazed the trophosphere. Any high schoolers in the chat right now? The trophosphere? I don't know what that is, but I went to public school and I remember the word. The man grazed the trophosphere to catch that pick, and that's when I knew. I said, man, we can talk about Dante's mistakes from now till February, actually. But the guy's a playmaker. He's kind of a high risk, high reward kind of guy. Usually you get the reward. At this point, I'm kind of leaning toward, those mistakes might just be something you got to live with if it means you get these big highlight plays out of the second fastest guy in the league. I'm kind of at that point right now. But moving on from that, this was just an impressive game all around. I don't know what to say. This is just too many things to really count on. The offense clicked on all cylinders. Greg Olsen was easily, I gotta say, Kyle Allen was easily the most impressive on the offense. But seeing Greg Olsen out there do his thing back-to-back weeks, really encouraging. Seeing how he didn't use Christian McCaffrey that much in the pass game, really encouraging. It's always in our back pocket. The front 7 is disgusting. We had a strong safety with a sack. We had a corner with 2 picks. What do you want from us? But, like I mentioned, this was the Cardinals. And we will get a much bigger test against the Texans next week. But ain't no reason to sit here and cry about it. A win by hook, by crook, whatever it takes. Bill Belichick won 6 rings on the back of
playing the game fair and square.
It don't really matter to me how we get the win or who we got to win against. As long as we get the win and as long as everyone's still healthy. I'm not the kind of guy who says you got to beat the best to be the best. If I got to run through a bunch of patsies to get a ring, is that ring still real? Is that banner up there? Is that banner real? If it says Super Bowl champions, I hope the next 15 games are all against the Cardinals. But the fact is they won't be. But that does not matter because from what I've seen, even against the Cardinals, this right here looks like a team that's reinvigorated. That's like energetic and hungry. We have youth. We have strong veterans. Guys coming in and out all the time. Guys are not getting too winded. We can beat the Texans. We can beat these teams that are better than the Cardinals, and there's a lot of teams better than the Cardinals. I don't believe this was an outlier of a game. We're still last in the NFC South standings, but one last thing I want to talk to you about before I go. We're last in the standings of our division, but we have the most points scored in the division and the least points allowed in the division. So take from that what you will. I was very encouraged by this 18-point blowout, 3-possession blowout of the Cards. I'll take it. That's how I feel about it, though. What are your thoughts on this? Give me all your thoughts, man. I appreciate all the nice words y'all were DMing me, commenting me when I was gone. I am back. Hopefully, I won't have to leave for a long period of time like that again. But I'm glad y'all was still rocking with me here. And we'll have more videos very, very, very quickly coming up before this Sunday game against the Texans. But like I said, let me know all your thoughts in the comments below. And you already know to do with that like button.
Cheers to you, appreciate the chance. Been told y'all I been the man. Been told y'all I had the gift. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Real ones gonna recommend. Count this as another win.